I'm getting used to this at this point, Impaler. I'm kind of getting used to these kind of questions. I think, I think I would just be, grab some trail mix and maybe some other food to get my munchies on, and go to town. That's all I gotta say on the matter. So, anyway. Second question. Your second question is, Rick and Morty meet Beerus. How do they appease him so he won't destroy the planet? Rick and Morty would have to get swifty. Yeah, take your pants off, get swifty. Shit on the floor, get swifty. And, yeah, that's all I have to say. They'd have to get really swifty. Third question. Jay and Silent Bob find Rick's portal gun. What do they do with it? My jungle love. Oh, wee, oh, wee, oh. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. So anyway, thank you for those questions, Wolfman. Moving on now to Andrew Varney, who asks, Rick and Morty end up on Atmos and meet the Stormhawks. What happens next? I think he would look at Cyclonus and be like... he would just look at Master Cyclonus and literally look at her and go, God, your greatest enemy is a 14-year-old girl who's probably worse than her. Once a month she turns into a gigantic Emperor Palpatine wannabe. God, you people need help. You use power. You use crystals to power your ships, but you still haven't even broken through the stratosphere. Well, barely, but God, you people have the most whacked out technology I've ever seen. Anyway, so second question: Rick and Morty encounter Death Clock from Metalocalypse. What hijinks ensue? So how I would imagine is that Rick and Morty, Summer gets tickets to go see Death Clock, and she gets 3 tickets, and she ends up, because all of her friends bag on her, so she ends up taking Rick and Morty with her. And meanwhile, the government has the organization that monitors Death Clock has also discovered that Rick is going to be at this concert, and realize that he's a huge threat. So they summon a demon to fight Rick. And brutality ensues. Anyway. So, third question. How might Rick react to the following characters? Discord, Samurai Jack, Doofenshmirtz, Draken, Alucard, Abridged Nappa, Tommy Oliver, Dexter, Batman, 80 Skeletor, and Roger Smith. Well, just Roger. Okay. I think he would look at them all and be like, I know every way how to kill all of you. I know exactly how to kill all of you. He would just look at all of them and be like, I know how to kill all of you. Anyway, so think of those questions, Andrew Varney. Moving on now to Darth Venom, who asks, Rick and Morty head to Pym Particles and meet Hank Pym and Scott Lang. What happens? I think he would just be like, I'm gonna use these for complete evil, and you can't stop me. Yeah, he would just be like, I'm gonna use these for my own purposes now. Try and stop me, bitch. Yeah, and he would give some to Morty and be like, here, you can use that on that one girl you're horny for. There you go, have fun. What am I supposed to do and shrink? I don't know, hide your panties something, Morty, be creative. Anyway, second question. What would happen in a Rick and Morty Simpsons crossover? Well, we kind of already had that with the couch gag in the previous season, in the season finale of season whatever the fuck. So, what would be the proper? What would be a good crossover rather than just one little couch gag? What would be a really good idea for a crossover? A crossover idea. Maybe have it that Dr. Frank has stolen technology and he went to a science convention and Rick was there and he stole some tech from Rick, and now Rick and Morty are back in Springfield looking for it, and they discover that the technology that Frank stole he's mixed it with his own. He's made like a doomsday weapon by accident, and now the Simpsons and Rick and Morty have to stop it. I don't know. That's just something right there. So, moving on. Third question. Morty reacts to the following: Danny Phantom, Jake Long, Dipper Pines, Fry from Futurama, Gumball Watterson, and Wander from Wander Over Yonder. I think he would look at them all and be like, "You're a bunch of sick freaks! Oh my god! You guys just enjoy fighting! You guys are either stupid, annoying, or just really loud mouth." Anyway, so think of those questions. Darth Venom, and moving on now to Brony Gamer, who asks, what would happen if Rick and Morty crossed dimensions with Gravity Falls, and what shenanigans would ensue? I think, like I've said before, Stanford and Stanley would be also with Stanley. Stan and Ford would be constantly at each other's throats. They would be at each other's throats with Rick, and Rick would just be constantly belittling everybody. And also, I think Rick would not be impressed by Bill Cipher. He'd be like, "You're a triangle. I fought things scarier than a shape." All right. Well, So, second question. What would happen if Rick and Morty cross into the land of Ooh from Adventure Time, and what would happen if Morty met Lemon Grab or Finn and Jake? I think, he would meet... If he met Lemon Grab, I think Rick would be like, "Huh, you guys sound just as annoying as each other. Ugh. Great. Now I have to deal with all of you." And I think he would, look at the world and be like, "Hey, hey Morty, if you want to get diabetes the fun way, let's go Hannibal Lecter on this town." Alright, so, and your final question is, what would happen if Rick and Morty crossed dimensions into Futurama, and would Rick be buddies with Bender? I think him and Bender would be good buddies for all about 5 seconds until they got into a fist fight. Yeah, that's probably what would probably happen, honestly. Anyway, I saw you did a 4th question, but like I said, it's a 3 question per person limit, so sorry about that, Brony Gamer. Alright, sorry about that. I had to look through the questions. I lost my place there for a second. So, moving on now to Matt Kaiser08, who asks, Bender from Futurama meets Rick in a bar, and what happens? I kind of already answered this already, so sorry, Matt. Rick and Morty Godzilla crossover, how would you write it? Rick would have to build his own Mechagodzilla that could actually kill Godzilla. That's what I think the gist of it is, that he would build his own... he would build his own Mechagodzilla that actually works, or his own Mecha Rick, or Ultra Rick. Yeah. Third question, what do you want to see in the next season of Rick and Morty? I want to see how the hell they get Rick out of prison. I think that's going to be, the main focus, is that they're going to be trying to get Rick out of prison. I think, yeah. And how he does it, I don't know. And I think I'll elaborate further on a theory, because someone asked me a question similar, so I may... go further on a theory with that. But yeah, thank you for those questions, Matt Kaiser. Moving on now to BooRat1, who asks, Rick and Morty, Crisis on Infinite Earths. How does this story go down? Mr. Poopy Butthole included. I think if we're going to do a version of Crisis on Infinite Earths, it would be that one, the Council of Ricks. One Rick has just gone completely batshit crazy and has decided, I'm going to become the anti-Rick and destroy the multiverse and build it in my image out of negative particles. And all the other Ricks are like, you're fucking crazy and stupid. Haha, I have Infinity Gauntlet. Shit! Anyway. So, that's oh yeah, Mr. Poopy Butthole would be there to help Rick like the Great Kazoo. Or something. Second question. Of all the alternate Ricks and Mortys in the multiverse, the Council of Ricks, what would you like to see a backstory of that isn't the evil ones? I'm sure we're going to get theirs eventually. I'd like to see, some of the Ricks and, some of the Ricks, Rick and Mortys, maybe, an Old West version, or, something of that nature. I don't know. Maybe one where Rick is the smart, where Morty's the smart one, and Rick is the the sidekick. I don't know. All right, third question. What sci-fi concept do you want to see Rick and Morty and maybe Summer tackle more next season that isn't time travel, as the creators of the show said they'd never do time travel episode as a concept since it's overused? I think I already answered this one, honestly. Well, they did 80s... Well, Major Badass said B-movie stuff, so... I guess this one gives a little leeway, like what high-level sci-fi mumbo-jumbo would be done. Okay. So, I would have to say... Well, I did say Invasion of Body Snatchers. Maybe, well, they did cloning. They've done cloning. They've done alternate realities. Have they done mutation? Have they done genetic mutation or genetic alteration? Maybe go down that route. I don't know. Alright, so thank you for those questions, Boo Rat. Moving on now to Christian Sager, who asks, Rick and Morty meet Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus and the students. What do they think? I think Rick would be like, get in that bus. I'm going in dry. Yeah, Rick would just be all over Miss Frizzle, and Morty would be left with all the students, and I think, like, he would look at, I can't remember the kid's name, was it Arthur? Yeah, he would look at Arthur and literally be like, you're Morty 2. You're Morty 3.0. I found another guy who's the 1, so you're 3.0. Or better yet, you're Bitch Morty. And that would be his how he would say his name. He's like, shut up, Bitch Morty. But yeah, he would be exploring the art of reproduction with Miss Frizzle. If you catch my drift. Anyway, second question: Do you think Rick thinks like Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and the like? Do I think he thinks like them, or What do you think What do you think Rick thinks of people like Einstein and Stephen Hawking and the like? I think he would look at them and all and be like, hey, you guys had some cool ideas, and they're the basis of everything, but yeah, I've discovered a lot more shit than you have. Anyway. So, moving on to W. Simmons, who asks, first question, Rick and Morty meet HK-47. Rick takes apart HK-47. Second question, Rick and Morty meet Eggman and Metal Sonic. I think, again, Rick would just be like, God, he's so obese he has to float around in that flying tub of shit. Well, hang on a second, I'll take it apart. Yeah, that would kind of be his initial thoughts, that he would be like, yeah, I'm gonna take your shit apart and and just have a lot of fun with it, so shut up. So third question is, what would happen if Rick and Morty got trapped in the Dead Space universe? Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I need to, side note, I think I really need to go, like, to GameStop or some shit and go buy, like, an old copy of Dead Space, because I lost mine, like, about 2 years ago, and I've been, like, thinking about it more and more, and I've been like, God, I really want to play Dead Space again. I as of this recording, at least, yesterday I rebought a old copy of Force Unleashed, so yeah, because again, that was another thing I lost, and I was like, man, this game is still good. I remember it still being good. So, yeah, I need to get on that with Dead Space. Anyway, so, thank you for those questions, W. Simmons. Moving on now to Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, who asks, if there ever is a fourth Back to the Future movie, Rick and Morty made a cameo, how would you write it? I think I would have it that they, during the event they go through alternate timelines and they actually end up in the Rick and Morty